What's up, guys? HellaBass here, and today we're going to break down the Sabine River for the Bassmaster Elite Series event coming up here shortly in Orange, Texas. I'm going to give you guys some nuggets that'll ensure that we all have a great fantasy event and have a great start to the fantasy swing for this Texas swing for the Bassmaster Elite Series. Even if you don't play fantasy fishing, I think you'll enjoy some of the nuggets in here that'll help you enjoy this tournament, some anglers to watch, and some good information about how this fishery fishes and how this event might play out. Congrats to our Pickwick winner, Tony Landry. Great score, great job. Prize pack coming from Omnia here shortly. I hope you enjoy it and hope you put it to good use. Don't worry if you haven't won yet. You can still use my code at Omnia Fishing and save 15% with HellaBass Spring 15, and that's good on almost everything they sell. You can still join, beat HellaBass Group, password jigs for pigs. You can still win individual events, gift cards, prizes from Omnia Fishing. It's still totally worth joining. We're over 800 members and just a lot more to come. Once you join the group, just make sure you're a subscriber. Has any of you guys ever had a great start to fantasy fishing and then forgot to fill out a roster and missed an event? Well, here's what you do. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and you'll get alerted, and then you won't forget next time after you have a great fantasy fishing event, and your season won't be ruined. All right, what to expect at Sabine? Well, here's the thing. 12 pounds a day will almost certainly win this event. Bassmaster Opens, Bassmaster Elite Series, June, March, it doesn't seem to matter. It's always about 12 pounds a day to win. They're only allowed to fish Texas waters, which makes this huge fishery actually fish pretty small. You're definitely going to see people fishing around each other in this event. So look for anglers that aren't afraid to grind. Look for guys that excel with shallow water, power fishing, flipping. Finesse might play just to get bites because bites are premium. Getting 5 bites a day and weighing 5 fish a day goes a long ways. Angler standings and your fantasy team. Now, previous events have been in March, some have been in June. It's almost always a shallow fishery. I don't think these fish move a ton. April might be a little different. I think we'll definitely see some fish spawning. I think we'll see some post-spawn. We might even see some pre-spawn. The angler that figures this out maybe finds something themselves, or they can find a technique that can separate themselves and fishing in a crowd could really be the key to having a high finisher winning in this event. All right, let's get into those Sabine River picks right now. All right, guys, quick look at Pickwick. Pickwick was a decent event for me. I had a couple good finishers. Hackney got off to a pretty good start, but he didn't really come through even with all those bites he had on day one, which was a little bit surprising. Lester ended up being a good pick. Buddy Gross was a good pick, but Matt Airy just didn't really adjust to the conditions. Didn't have a great practice. That was a bit of a bummer. And then I think Justin Atkins got a lot of us. He actually felt really bad, and he actually apologized to everybody on Instagram right here. That being said, 900 points, not great, not awful. And if you're going to be mediocre, you might as well be at 69% because that's just a fun number. As always, I like to start at Buckety. There's a couple popular picks here, Louisiana and Texas anglers. Randy Sullivan, Daryl Gleason, Quentin Capel, all from neighboring states, could be good picks. But the local thing has really bit me, a.k.a. Justin Atkins last week and a few other times this year. So I'm going to go Harvey Horne this week just because he's got an express boat. It should fish great. He loves fishing shallow. He's one on the Arkansas River. He should be at home. I mean, none of the anglers in Buckety are having a great year, so this is a little bit of a crapshoot. Obviously, any one of these guys could get going at any time and have a good tournament. And so, the express boat, I got a good feeling. I mean, Aluminum Rigs have won 2 out of the 3 Bassmaster Elite Series wins, and it's working for John Cox. So, hey, maybe there's something to these Aluminum Rigs. Buckety, Clark Wentland, and Chris Zeldane are gaining a lot of attention from fantasy fans, and probably that makes sense. They're very talented anglers. Jake Whitaker could be a really good pick here for sure. I think he has the potential to do well. He has a top 10 here on the Sabine River in his rookie season. Obviously, he is very good at finesse. In his best tournaments, it seems like wacky rigs, small swim baits, things like that really play for him. So I think he's a pretty safe pick. I think he's the kind of guy that's going to downsize. He's going to throw a worm. He's going to do what he needs to do to get 5 bites, and that could play big at the Sabine River. But I think a really good valued pick here is Chad Morgenthaler out of Missouri, who's originally from Illinois. He's very comfortable fishing shallow. He's very used to fishing for very few bites. Last year, when he did really well, like on Gunnersville and a few other tournaments, when he could just flip all day, whether it's a D-bomb or a destroyer for missile baits, he had really good events. So I think Morgenthaler, he's been here before. He's got some good finishes. He's got some not so great finishes, but I think he understands the fisheries. He knows what to do, and he's very comfortable flipping all day to get 5 decent bites, and I think that's going to bode well for fantasy players and myself this week. Bucket C, Swindle's always a popular pick. He's going to get a lot of attention. There's a lot of other good anglers in here, like Scott Canterbury, Clint Davis, Brandon Cobb, guys that have had okay seasons. Any of them could be really good. But I like Tyler Rivet. He slowly, under the radar, has been actually catching them pretty good. in the past season or so. He's really become a much better angler, more consistent. He's from Louisiana. He lives about 5 hours away. I don't know if he's ever been here before, but he's got good finishes on the Red River, Appalachia Basin, similar type fisheries. So I expect him to be very comfortable. Power fishing, fishing shallow. He should understand how these fisheries work. And overall, I think he's a solid pick, and he's just on the right trajectory and trending up. So I think some good value, even at 17% right now. Tyler Rivet this week for fantasy fishing. A little bit of a dark horse pick. If you want somebody with a much lower percentage, Bob Downey at less than 1% right now. He won on Grand Lake, flipping all day. Remember back when he did well on Gunnersville this past year, flipping the whole time. If he can get comfortable, find a few fish, and use his flip and stick all day, he's bound to have a good tournament. He's definitely a grinder. He's not necessarily excelling in these like super big weight tournaments, but when he can just get 5, 10 good quality bites a day and put together a good stringer, he seems to excel in those type of tournaments. So if you're looking for somebody sneaky, look at my buddy Bob Downey. Bucket B, definitely getting a lot more talent to pick from here. Derek Hudnall, Jason Christie, last week's winner Bill Lowen, all getting a lot of attention. Scott Martin's in this bucket, a lot of good anglers. Caleb Sumrall's from Louisiana. So a couple anglers here to watch. Ray Hanselman from Texas, although known for a deep grass fishing on Rayburn and places like that, actually has had some pretty good success on the Sabine River. He's actually got a pair of top 25s in the Elite Series in 2017 and 2018. So I think at 3% ownership, if you're looking for some value, Hanselman could be really good. He seems to understand this fishery. Even though it's kind of a weird fishery and it can't be inconsistent, he seemed to find a way to catch consistent fish in 2 different events. And that's enough for me if you're looking for a sneaky good pick. But in the end, I'm going John Cruz. He's got a pair of 6th place finishes and 1 other checks in his 3 finishes on Sabine River. He seems to really understand this fishery. He loves fishing shallow. He's good at flipping, shallow cranking, things like that. He's from Virginia. He understands tidal waters and things like that. He's done well on the St. John's. He won an event on the California Delta. He seems to be fishing well now again. Last year was a bit of an anomaly. John Cruz has always been a bucket A, bucket B guy. Now he's finally fishing like he's used to, how he normally is. So I expect Cruz trajectory to continue up, and he should be a good pick and a really good value. And I expect a really solid tournament out of John Cruz on the Sabine. Lastly, bucket A, tons of talent, tons of guys that are just straight catching them this year. Plenty of good picks here. I think Kyle Welcher could be sneaky. I know he's never been here, but frogging, flipping, flying around, hitting spots definitely fits Kyle Welcher's. Although you might need to settle down and grind an area, and that's not necessarily Kyle's style, but I think overall this fishery will match up with his skill set. So he's a guy that you definitely could look at. Brian Schmidt could be really good. He understands rivers, he understands tidal, he understands grass. That all is a recipe for him to do well at this event, even with not a ton of experience here. Brandon Palnick also has some good finishes here. Also, sneaky good, low percentage guy here at about 1%. Matt Heron has 3 really strong finishes here on the Sabine. He's got 2 225s and a top 50, so he's never missed the $10,000 check here. He loves to flip. He loves to power fish. This should be right in his wheelhouse. But I can't ignore Greg Hackney this week. He's won here. He's got another top 10, and he also has a 45th. So all $10,000 checks, 2 out of 3 4-day cuts. That's pretty good. He's from Louisiana. When he fun fishes, he fishes places that look a lot like the Sabine, and he will definitely want to fish well after a not so great tournament at Pickwick. So he should be well motivated. He should be focused, and I expect big things from Greg Hackney this week. So overall, I think winning weight here is going to be somewhere between 46, 52 pounds. It always seems like 12 pounds a day is about all it takes, no matter if we're looking at June, March, April. That's just the way this fishery is. Pick your grinders. Guys, this should be a fun tournament to watch. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. You catch 2 or 3 fish one day. You bust a 15, 70 pound the next day. You're right in this thing. It's just really going to be a tight tournament. All right. I hope you guys are excited for the Sabine River, because I am a little bit. Slugfests are cool, but sometimes a grinder is good. So if you like a pitcher's duel or an NFL football defensive struggle, that's what the Sabine is going to be like. This will be a good palate cleanser before we have Lake Fork next week, which will be an awesome slugfest for sure. If you guys want to continue to catch more bass and suck less, maybe check out one of these next 2 videos right here.